Hi, Parul. I have a very serious question for you. Given everything that's happening in India right now, women's safety is a big issue. What is one thing that you would do differently starting today to make the future a little safer for us?
So I think it starts from, I know people will say that it's not all men, but every woman has faced some kind of sexual abuse. Men say it's not all men, but women have suffered domestic abuse. So I think the thing that needs to change is that people need to take care of how you're raising men, of how men are treating women, ending the patriarchy. We're not asking for being more than men. We're just asking to be treated equally. That's all we're asking for. It's not a fight. It's not a competition of men against women, of who gets abused more and who gets abused less. It's just about treating people with respect. So irrespective of the gender, irrespective of the fact that you just have one different reproductive organ, you can't just go out and say things or do things. So treat people with respect is what I think we can change.
So reduce the hateful comments on each other. You don't know what the other person is going through. Everybody has their own challenges. So be just thoughtful and considerate to each other. We are all human beings. The rape that has happened, it's gruesome, it's inhumane. And since then, I have seen a lot of boys commenting on those news articles that, making memes on them. That's so disrespectful and so inconsiderate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what we can do. Give good values to our kids.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to Prickly Pears. What's your name?
My name is Neha.
Neha, thanks for joining us today and thanks for agreeing to speak with us. Hope you're enjoying the India Day. Can you tell me whether you're single or married or
I'm single.
you're single? And how long have you been in Dublin?
It's about 4 years now.
And how have you liked being single in Dublin, or are you actively looking for a partner? What are your thoughts about?
See, Dublin, moving to a new country has its own challenges, and it's been a roller coaster ride, to say the least. You learn so many things. There's so many accommodations you need to make while moving to a country abroad. Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
And do you think it would be different if you were in India?
Absolutely, yeah. No, absolutely, it'd be very different.
And you would have found someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with by now?
See, these are all a matter of chances. It's not about the place. It could happen in India, it could happen here, it could happen anywhere. So I don't think place has that much of a part to play. It's just the timing, I feel.
And what are you looking for in a life partner?
That's a very tricky question. I think it's a mutual respect to begin with. That's very important for me. And apart from that, the person should be willing to learn about the other person. I think that's most important. But the respect is non-negotiable for me.
Because I have a question for you.
Yeah.
As another person who might be looking, where would you propose I start?
I think social circles is a good place. I feel these the Bumbles and the Tinders of the world. And no offense, but I don't think if it's a life partner, that those are the places to go. But yeah,
Can't find it.
You have to go somewhere else.
As a life partner, you can't find on Bumble and Tinder like it. Go for a life partner, shadi. Go is a bit better.
yeah, that's just more fancy. Bumble.
Yeah.
I think.
I've been here since 5 years. I was finding a life partner. I couldn't find anyone. I have to literally go to India and then find someone. So,
Did you find?
yes, I found someone recently, like 3 months back itself. So I got someone from India. Thank you very much.
We'll wish you the best of luck also. Thank you for joining us today at Prickly Pears. Today, I want to ask you, what's the secret to your long marriage? Long and happy, I hope.
Very happy. I think we've been married for 10 years. We'll finish 10 years in January, but we have known each other for half our lives. So I think just being able to survive each other or adjustment, or maybe you get into a relationship young so that you can adjust to each other's needs. Maybe that's it.
And what do you think?
I think after a certain point of time, it's everything else fades away. If you can just have a good time with that person, that your relationship will survive. That's what is the most important thing.
What's the last thing you did to spend a lot of time together?
So the last thing, actually, we did something yesterday. We actually took a long 35-kilometer walk. So we actually saw a YouTube influencer couple, and we saw them. They took a walk across the city of Singapore, and we thought we can do the same thing in Dublin. The weather is good. We did it last year as well. We did it yesterday again this year. So we just walked from our house in Malahide to Blackrock Station. We kept walking. Wherever we felt like, we stopped, had a coffee, got into a cafe, had a quick bite, and kept walking. Took a train back from Blackrock. So it was a good fun. It's a good about 8 hours of walking.
Yeah. Yeah, and 8 hours of each other's company, we are very comfortable with being silent together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just critiquing people together. We are very comfortable being silent together and having each other,
So you-
giving each other space.
So in those 8 hours, you see each other, the best of every, the
Yeah.
best of your partner, the worst,
Yeah.
because you see them in a happy mood, you see them excited, you see them when they're angry, irritable, and tired.
Yeah.
So you see all the moods in those 8 hours. All of that,
Yeah.
it's going well.
It's a happy marriage.
Happy marriage.
So, for all our viewers, having a marathon of a marriage means running or walking the marathon yourself.
Yes.
Yes, kilometers together. You're finishing 35 years and more together. Thank you.
So, Saranapurva, I have a few questions for you.
Yeah.
How long have you been together and how did you meet?
We've been together for 6 years now, including the dating period. Yeah.
Yes,
And-
right.
How did you meet?
It's an arranged marriage through our mothers found each other online, and then they liked our profiles and they introduced us, and yeah, that's how we met.
So my question to you then is, would you recommend an arranged setup? And you two seem to be having a really good time together. So what are your tips for thriving in an arranged setup?
Okay, so tips for men to thrive in any marriage is just say yes, I agree. So I think that's my number one tip. I think, on a more serious note, I'd say that just enjoy each other's company and discuss things, discuss issues, have fun together. I think that would be the success factor. Yeah.
Does he say yes to everything?
No. So no.
I try my
The first tip was the tip is accurate, but he does not follow that always.
yes, I agree.
So what is your? Yeah, I guess just get to know each other, because being an arranged marriage, we didn't know each other very long before we got married or decided to get married. So I think every day we are still learning a lot about each other and how to understand and stay together happily. So
Actually, right.
I think a lot of patience and understanding is needed in an arranged marriage. Yeah.
And would you recommend the setup?
I didn't want it, so I can't say if I recommend it, because I always wanted a love marriage, but it's not bad.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you. Questions for you. So, do you want to start by sharing what your relationship status is and how long it has been, what it is?
So my relationship status is I'm married happily, 9 years, 14 years ever since I know Hiral, and we've been around over here in Ireland for about 7 years now as proud Irish nationals. It's been time passes by when you have an interesting person around, and I'm sure that there will be many other singles who will be listening on to this podcast, and they will be trying to find their own pigeonhole in terms of that, what kind of a person I want to be in my nest. Your home is your nest. And, a wrong person getting into it can ruin entirely. You are finished. And if you get the right person, you are completed. As we have heard this, we have read this. But jokes apart, what makes a marriage work more meaningfully is the timing of things what you share with your partner. Somebody is in a funny mood and somebody is not. Somebody in the house wants to share something very important while the other person is just shooting the breeze. The day when a couple, or as individuals, as human beings, our relationships, not only in our married life or in personal life with your boss, your parents, everywhere, it's going to enhance the meaning of the relationship only and only if you know that at what time you have to speak and at what time you have to be quiet, at what time you have to be supportive, at what time you have to be submissive, at what time you have to challenge, argue, or at what time you have to shut up. So this is my kind of one snippet or a tip there are many others, so you can follow us for more and show some love to these guys. They've been really doing well and they want to do well. So I hope, I wish you all the best. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So, Sneha, lovely to meet you here in Marion Park today this afternoon. We told you about what we are looking to chat about today, which is relationships, dating, all of that. Can you tell me your relationship status?
I am currently single and now looking to mingle again.
Okay. And do you believe in the concept of monogamy and a single soulmate life partner?
I think the whole concept of like soulmate is a big issue because it feels like you put the entire burden of like of responsibility on one person. It's like your every single mythical mega Disney need, right? So I definitely think that the concept of like one single soulmate is this is probably at the root cause of a lot of like misaligned expectations amongst like people looking for partners. I definitely think there are many people that you could find who would fit for a life partner that you would want to be with, right? Depending on what you're looking for and what they're looking for. I just think that it's almost like, let's see. Imagine if you were at work and your manager told you that you had to do 6 different jobs and all of that responsibility lay on you, right? You had to be the manager, you had to be the presenter, you had to be the person who delivers stuff as well. I feel like that's a sort of like obligation that somebody puts on one person to be their soulmate. So definitely think that that's okay. I think we need like restart. For me, I'm looking for a sense of that person knowing what they're about, a sense of openness, a little bit of adventure. I am also looking for somebody who's got this huge spirit of like generosity in believing that there's a sense of like really tremendous things that you can do in the world today. So I guess that comes coupled with like a big sense of agency, of wanting to try different things out, to try out different ways of living, work, lifestyles, and so on. So that's definitely something that I'm looking for in my partner.
Let's manifest this for you today with everybody. But one last question. So you said all of these things, but you didn't say, like color of skin, caste, religion, this, that. So I'm assuming you're open to dating anybody, like anywhere.
I mean, I really think for me, it's more a sense of like understanding that person and seeing if we're on the same wavelength. And I found that variables like color of skin and wavelength and caste don't really give you a sense of what somebody's wavelength is at. So in that sense, I'm definitely open. But it's also like pretty possible after a few conversations to see where somebody's coming from. So it's easy enough to realize when something isn't going to work for you as well.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Sneha.
Thank you.